us. Let me now go across to Amitabh Kant, CEO Niti Aayog is joining us. Amitabh Kant, great to have you. Now, that same question I put to Uday Kotak, that that this was going to or expected to be a budget like no other. How would you defend that? That some may turn around and say this is a business as usual budget. What would you say is the big game changer here?
Vasu, I think the key challenge for the Indian economy was greater gross capital formation. And what the budget really does is it pushes for investment in a very big way. It pushes for asset monetization. It nudges the states into greater private sector participation in infrastructure. And I think this was really critical. The second thing was greater level of lending to MSMEs. And by doing this reconstruction and asset creation company, you will be able to take out a lot of non-performing assets into one SPV and giving the freedom to the banks to lend and lend more efficiently. So I think, and also the recapitalization of the banks by 20,000 crores. So I think two key measures which were very critical for the economy was greater credit for MSME, because on a later date, you would have had a much greater and higher level of NPAs. And secondly, this huge and immense amount of focus on both investment as well as greater efficiency of assets through asset monetization. Because government is good at asset creation but very bad in operation and maintenance. Bring in private sector to maintain, and they in turn will bring in investments, they will bring in debt, and therefore you create a virtuous cycle of investments and debt flowing into the Indian economy.
But let me ask you, when you talk about investment, and we also heard Uday Kotak saying that the government is spending much more. Nirmala Sitharaman also said spend, we are spending. Let's try and do a little bit of a fact check of that, Amitabh Kant, because if you look at the actual numbers, capital expenditure has only gone up by 1 lakh crore. Total overall expenditure has gone up by 4 lakh crore. That means 3 lakh crore is just what is called revenue expenditure, which is paying government salaries, pensions, interest and so on. Only 1 lakh crore is the net increase in capex. That's not a lot, is it?
No, Vasu, so COVID period, you had to really take care of, actually people, there was a challenge of lives, there was a challenge of livelihood, there was a challenge of doing DBT, there was a challenge of ensuring health. So revenue expenditure during the COVID period is perfectly all right. But now that we are getting back on track, now is the focus, now is the time to lay focus on. Don't look at the past, but in the coming year, the entire focus will be on infrastructure creation. The additional outlay is of close to about 35,000 crore is on infrastructure.
Amitabh, I'm talking about looking forward.
So
I'm saying the projected, hold on, the projected capex spending, the increase for the coming year is only 1 lakh crore over the previous year. All I'm saying is that that's not a large amount for the kind of changes, the game changes that is being suggested. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Vasu, the challenge there is not just the government spending. The intention is that you will do asset monetization. Asset monetization will bring in increased resources to be put back into infrastructure. What happens when you sell off power grids, when you sell off gas pipelines, when you sell airports, you are putting them back into creation of fresh infrastructure. So the way you are reading it is not appropriate. You are going to get increased resources back into infrastructure.
But do you believe? Hold on, Amitabh. Do you believe? Fair enough. I hear what you're saying about asset monetization. Do you believe, though, that it is important to strike a note of caution, because asset monetization is not a new idea. Governments, including yours, have been talking about it for a long time. If you look at the overall track record of either asset monetization or disinvestment, let's look at disinvestment, which again, or privatization as the finance minister called it. You set targets for 1.75 lakh crore of privatization. Last year, the target, Amitabh Kant, was 2 lakh crore. And the government's own revised estimate says only 32,000 crores, which is about less than 20%, could actually be achieved.
So Vasu, last year a number of private sector, number of companies were taken up for disinvestment. They got impacted because of COVID-19, very prolonged. But if COVID-19, but all of them are on track. If you look at BPCL, if you look at Air India, if you look at BML, if you look at Concor, all of them are on track. And they are at very, very advanced stages. So this year, you will see a lot of disinvestment taking place. And we are also ready for some fresh new announcements for disinvestment, which we will do, which is the mandate of Niti Aayog. So we will push for greater levels of disinvestment as well as for asset monetization. I think this is the key here. And I think 1,75,000 crores is a doable target.
No, but Amitabh, why would you think it's different this year? Because all these companies have been on a block for a long time, even pre-pandemic. Why should anyone be more convinced that this year will be different?
Other than Air India, which was recommended earlier, which went through to the block but did not have buyers initially.
Yes.
All other companies were recommended by us only last year and they were taken up. But Vasu, you must also realize that in government, to privatize large companies like BPCL, Concor, you have to do due process. And due process is very critical. If you do not do due diligence and due processes, you land up on trouble on a later date. So allow the government, allow the disinvestment and the Deepam ministry to do due process.
Sure.
And they are taking it through the right process. I must tell you this.
And
I'm quite sure that they are at very advanced stage. And they will achieve success this year.
No, absolutely. I mean, obviously, due process should be followed. I was only pointing out the discrepancy between the 2 lakh crore target and the 32,000 crore revised estimate of last year. But the other number which I wanted to ask you about, Amitabh Kant, is which the government has been made much of, is the huge spending on health. That it's 140% almost increase in health spending, jumping from 94,000 crore to 2 lakh crore. But the but here is that if you look at that number, it's coming because of the fact that you've clubbed a whole lot of other heads like drinking water, sanitation, vaccination, all of that into health, and nutrition as well. And that's why now suddenly the health budget is looking that inflated. But if you try to take it apart, it's not such a big jump.
So Vasu, health is multidimensional and nutrition is a very integral part of it, and sanitation and all that has a multiplier impact on health. But there is a new Prime Minister Swasthya Yojana, which is an allocation of close to about 68,000 crores, which will have a huge spin-off effect in due course. So my view is that rightly the government has put... Yeah, that's fine. But,
6 years, sorry, 6
in
years.
India, a vast, close to about 60... Yeah, but, in India, close to 66 lakh families go below the poverty line because of lack of good tertiary care. It's very, very expensive and they have to run to private sector. So what is very necessary is to strengthen our primary health and wellness centers, and as well as to take care of a large number, and that the whole focus is entirely on that in this, and a lot of specialized diseases, missions for these specialized diseases. So I think the focus and emphasis on budget, on health, on nutrition, on education, and essentially on human development index in India, if India is to have sustained growth over a long period, a focus on these areas is very critical, very, to my mind, is very imperative. This has been rightly done.
One thing I wanted to ask you, though, is that when it comes to privatization, disinvestment, which is, some would say, a big reform area that you're saying you're going to give a big push, are you concerned also about managing the political environment? Because you've already seen what happened with the farm laws and the protests as a result of that. Is there a concern that, is that going to act as a kind of a check on the government's impulses based on what happened with the farmer protests?
Let me tell you that the process of disinvestment started long time back many years back, and actually it started during the Congress period, subsequently given a drive during Mr. Vajpayee's period, and
of course
by Mr. Then later, it's over 4 or 5 governments that the process of disinvestments of public sector enterprises has taken place. And I think there's broad consensus across the board that we need to bring in greater level of efficiency. Essentially, India has to have productive efficiency. And unless and until we don't become a more efficient nation, how do you grow? So that you and I, all of us must realize.
No, I'm saying I'm not at this point debating the merits of it. I'm saying that given the possibility that you have seen political backlash or a public backlash, like in the case of farmers, where the government actually was willing to even put the laws on hold for 1.5 to 2 years, whether there could be a similar response there. But on the farmers law, Amitabh Kant, you still believe that the government should stand its ground and hold on to that as an important reform, or are you believe it is prudent to roll back?
No, on the public. Let me first say that on the public sector disinvestment, government has demonstrated that it is willing to continue its reform process, which was an ongoing process. And secondly, on the farmers issue, the Prime Minister has already spoken that the offer which they had made in the discussion with the farmers already stands. They are just a call away from the Prime Minister. The government is willing to talk. The government has had large number of rounds of discussions with the farmers. We all stand with the farmers of India. We all stand with the growth and progress of farmers, and we all are willing to interact with them at any time, and the Prime Minister has gone on record on that.
Right. Last answer from you, Amitabh Kant. What do you think? I mean, you've spoken about the bold steps taken by the government, but as someone who's been a policy maker, you continue to be a policy maker, and you're very much within the system. What do you see as the biggest challenge for you, frankly, in trying to achieve all these targets? Is it trying to raise revenue? Realistically, what's the biggest challenge?
So, Vasu, 3 things. One is that it's not possible for India to grow on a sustained basis over a long period, and that is a challenge which we have, without greater levels of capital formation. The gross capital formation must take place, number 1. Number 2, without a very vibrant private sector, and therefore lending from financial institutions is very critical. This is important. And thirdly, I think, a huge amount of emphasis has to be laid by all of us on implementation of what has been announced in the budget. The hallmark of a great budget will be our successful implementation of what is. It's a great budget. It's a very bold, pragmatic. It's a progressive budget which must be very well implemented by all of us.
Okay, I think that's right. Execution, as Uday Kotak said, is key. Amitabh Kant, pleasure to talk to you as always. Thanks very much indeed.